Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Hard Count podcast. And today I've got my full first round 2021 NFL mock draft for you guys. It's mock draft season. The season is almost over. A lot of teams are looking forward to the draft already. And so I'm excited for mock draft season. I know you guys are too. And let's get right into it with the first overall pick, which in my opinion is one of the easiest picks of this video. It's Trevor Lawrence, quarterback out of Clemson, one of the best quarterback prospects we've ever seen. Huge arm, great athlete, really nice processing, very accurate. You can't get much better than Trevor Lawrence as a prospect. He is phenomenal out of Clemson. We'll see what he does in the college football playoff. I don't think it'll matter. He will be the number one pick unless something crazy happens. I think the second he steps onto an NFL field, he will arguably be a top 10 quarterback. That is how good Trevor Lawrence is. Not a guy you can pass up on if you're to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He will be their franchise quarterback for years and years to come. So number one overall, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Clemson. Number two overall, I think this is another easy pick, and I think most people would actually disagree with me on this one. I'm taking Justin Fields. Now, let's not bail on Justin Fields too quickly here. I think Justin Fields is a fantastic player, and I think people are starting to bail on him a lot for just kind of being tired of him being the second best guy. They want the new face, which is Zach Wilson out of BYU. But let's not ignore a lot of the things that Justin Fields does very, very well. I mean, he is a very accurate passer down the field. Really nice touch on deep balls. Has a really nice arm. Big time athlete. Can throw on the run. Can really move out of the pocket. Run down the field. And he's willing to run. I think if you can really develop that piece of his game, he can be special. I think Fields, there's a couple little processing things here and there with his reads and stuff like that. And when he gets under pressure, he might be a little more shaky. I think these things can be fixed up. You can really pull out the full potential of Justin Fields, and I think Fields is the second best quarterback in this class. And I made a video the other day talking about why the Jets need to take quarterback with this pick. So you can check that out if you want to. It's right here. But yeah, the Jets need to take Justin Fields. It's the right decision for them. So they take Justin Fields here, their franchise quarterback, at number 2. And then at number 3, I think this is going to be the most controversial pick of the video. It's going to be Trey Lance out of North Dakota State University, quarterback. And I know what you're thinking. 1, why would the Dolphins need a quarterback? They drafted Tua last year, right? And 2, why is it Trey Lance? And first of all, I know they took Tua last year. I know that. But I mean, the Dolphins, in my opinion, are going to be a team that's going to be competing for years and years to come. I think they've got a really nice foundation there with Brian Flores. They've got some nice young pieces on that defense. It's going to be a team that's going to want to compete for a long time. And what does that mean? They're going to be getting late draft picks. They're going to be getting the 20, 25, 30th draft pick. And that means you're not going to get the opportunity to take a quarterback very often, and not too many elite quarterbacks roll around in free agency that they're really going to be able to get. So in my opinion, I think we've seen what we've gotten from Tua already. They've had to take him out of the game a couple times for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I haven't seen much that's special from him. And I get he could be a good, solid NFL player, but he's got a lot of injury risk. He hasn't shown too much yet. He's been... I get he doesn't turn the ball over much, but he's not physically special. He doesn't do anything too special. And I just don't think he's ultimately going to be that guy that is a dynasty leading guy. He's not a Patrick Mahomes. So I think when you have the opportunity, when you're picking at number 3 like the Dolphins are right now, and this is an opportunity they're not going to get for a long, long time, you take that opportunity. You take Trey Lance, who in my opinion is the 3rd best quarterback in the class, because this is a guy that's super talented, a guy that can be that dynasty leading guy, a guy that you can compete with confidently for years and years to come. I think is Trey Lance. I have faith in this Dolphins organization to develop him well, And so, in my opinion, I know it might be controversial. I think the Dolphins picking a quarterback here is not as crazy of an idea as you might think it is, because this opportunity isn't going to come around all that often for the Dolphins. And is Tua really worth the risk? I don't know. So I like Trey Lance here, and I think Trey Lance is the third best quarterback in the draft. I really like him. We see size, physicality, really nice arm, really good athlete. People compare him to Lamar Jackson sometimes. I don't think he's quite as fast, but very mobile guy. He has a ton of ability, and I love that in a quarterback. I think he has some really, really nice upside. You pair that with this Dolphins organization. I think it is a really nice pick. I love this pick for the Dolphins. You can get a wide receiver elsewhere. You can get a tackle elsewhere. But you can't always have the opportunity to take a guy as talented as Trey Lance. So take this opportunity, Dolphins. You're not going to get it often. And I really like this pick here for the Dolphins. Number 4, though. Sorry I talked so long about that. I just really probably felt like I need to explain that pick a little bit more. And then number 4 overall, we got Zach Wilson out of BYU. We're going 4 quarterbacks off the board in the first 4 picks. I think this is as it should be almost every year. I mean, teams should trade into these picks to take quarterbacks because quarterbacks are so much more valuable than any other position in the draft. They are franchise changing, and I think Matt Ryan's running out. He's running out of time in Atlanta. They need a guy for their future, and I think Zach Wilson is that guy. I could see them going elsewhere, but I just don't see this team really competing with Matt Ryan. I think they are starting to believe it, and I think Zach Wilson, you get a new coach in there, you develop Zach Wilson, let him learn from Matt Ryan, could be really, really special. I like, and I know you guys might be thinking that I'm hating on Zach Wilson here. I'm not at all. I really like Zach Wilson. I think he is a phenomenal player. Accurate, really nice through his reads. I think he might be a little more pro-ready than a guy like Trey Lance. I just don't see him as having as much upside. But still, a good athlete, pretty nice arm. I like Zach Wilson a lot. I think he could be the future of this Falcons organization. Something to be really excited about for the Falcons. And then number 4 overall, we're going to shift away from quarterbacks here. Don't worry, I'm not going to be picking a Kyle Trask here at number 5 overall. You might be thinking by the way this draft is going, I might be doing that, but no. At number 5, I'm going to take the Jamar Chase, and I think there's a couple options there for them. I think they could go Micah Parsons, really get a centerpiece of that defense, a guy that they can really, really build that defense around in Micah Parsons. But in my opinion, I think Jamar Chase would be beautiful on this team. You get Jalen Hurts, quarterback of the future. You really get him a guy that can separate. That's been an issue all year long. You get a healthy offensive line. Jalen Hurts continues to develop. Jalen Reagor is that speed guy. Jamar Chase is that get open in all areas of the field, well-rounded, sure-handed guy. I would really think this offense would be great next year. I think that would be an opportunity that the Eagles would love to take. So I like Jamar Chase here at number 5. Super well-rounded receiver out of LSU. You got to remember, he was the wide receiver 1 over Justin Jefferson in that 2019 offense. And look at what Justin Jefferson is doing right now in the NFL. So I think Jamar Chase is just too good to pass up on here for the Eagles. Really would be a nice piece to add to that offense next year with their young, developing Jalen Hurts. And at number 6, I think you could argue that this is also the easiest pick of the video. Penei Sewell. Do I really have to explain it? One of the best tackle prospects we've ever seen out of Oregon. Super strong, super technically sound. Really, the Bengals need offensive tackle badly. They need someone to protect Joe Burrow for the future. Penei Sewell is that guy. He's number 6. Not too much to say there. Number 7, I think this could go a couple of ways, but I think the most logical way for it to go is wide receiver. And I like Jalen Waddle here for the Detroit Lions. Big speed threat out of Alabama. Can really fill in that Kenny Galladay role. We'll see what happens with the wide receiver position for the Lions, but I think they will have to let a couple guys go. And Jalen Waddle will be a perfect guy to come in and fill that role. Can be a nice contested catch guy, really athletic, can move down the field. I really like him a lot. I think he could do great things with this offense. I think this team eventually will need to take a quarterback, but I think wide receiver this year is something that they really need to address. And if quarterbacks are off the board, I think they would be perfectly happy taking a guy like Jalen Waddle. And then the pick after the New York Giants, I think this is a pick that I really like for them. Micah Parsons, nice centerpiece on that defense. They need some linebacker help on that team. And I really like the coach. I really like the direction that this Giants team is heading. And Micah Parsons would be a perfect centerpiece on that defense, which is already performing really, really nicely. And if quarterbacks are off the board at this point, I think you got to take Micah Parsons, who's the best guy on the board, in my opinion. Very, very nice prospect out of Penn State. Super well-rounded linebacker, a very good linebacker prospect for this defense that's only going to get better, can continue to develop with Joe Judge. I really like this team. I really like this pick. So that's my pick for the Giants, Micah Parsons. Number 9, I went back and forth a little bit here. I could see this team biting at Kyle Pitts. I don't think it's necessary, though. I think the right pick for them here is Patrick Surtain out of Alabama. In my opinion, the best cornerback in the class. Lanky guy, athletic, very physical, plays really nice man coverage. I think that would be really helpful in this Panthers defense that desperately needs some help in almost all areas, and I think Surtain would greatly help that. I really like his style of play. I think he is going to be a good corner in the NFL, and I really like what he would bring to this Panthers defense. So I like Surtain going to the Panthers at number 9, despite maybe some temptations to grab like a Kyle Pitts, for example. And then number 10, I think if Gregory Rousseau falls to the Broncos, they should take him and be very excited about that opportunity to take a guy as talented as Gregory Rousseau. Lanky prospect, very, very nice, very athletic, quick off the edge. He's huge. A couple technical issues, but he has so much upside. And I think with Von Miller aging, he's a huge cap hit for this Broncos team. I wouldn't be surprised if they cut him to get rid of the cap. And he's aging off a major injury. I think Gregory Rousseau could come in here and really fill a need for this team. I know they got Bradley Chubb. They could pair that up, make a really nice pass rush duo. I think this would be a really nice pick for the Broncos at number 10. And then at number 11, I think Caleb Farley is the pick here for the Cowboys. And I know they could actually win the division here. So that could be very interesting to see what they would do with a later draft pick. But I think a top cornerback is something that they really, really need. And I think they weren't. I'm not thinking Trevon Diggs is going to be that for this team. He's shown some up and down play this year, but I think Caleb Farley, really nice man corner, and that's seemingly what the Cowboys want to do a lot of this year. And I think that'd be great for this defense that has really struggled on the back end. They really, really need a cornerback. Awuzie will be gone, so Farley can kind of come in on this team, instantly make an impact, and I really like that pick for the Cowboys. Caleb Farley at number 11. Number 12 is a very interesting pick for the Chargers because I think there's a couple ways they can go with it. They go offensive line, which I think is a big need for this team, but I'm looking at it, and I think that this team is going to bite on it. You're looking at Kyle Pitts on the draft board, and you're thinking to yourself, can we pass up on a guy like Kyle Pitts? And I just don't think the Chargers can. And I do think that they might trade down from this spot. I think people will be willing to trade up for a guy like Kyle Pitts if he's available. Because Kyle Pitts is just phenomenal. Huge season at Florida. Just ridiculously good. Kyle Pitts is very, very good. Not too much to say about him, but I think it would be a really nice addition. I mean, you get Kyle Pitts with, a new coach. I would love to see Brian Daboll with this Chargers team. Brian Daboll, Justin Herbert, Kyle Pitts, Keenan Allen. How could this offense go wrong? I think Kyle Pitts would be a fun addition to this Chargers team. And but I could see them trading out of this pick, maybe trading down to get an offensive lineman later in the draft. And then we're talking about a team that's going to take an offensive lineman here. And I like Rashawn Slater to the Minnesota Vikings, versatile offensive lineman out of Northwestern, can play really any center, tackle, guard, and that's what they need. Literally any position on the offensive line the Vikings could use, and Rashawn Slater provides that. Super talented, nice and athletic. I think he would do a great job on this Vikings team. I don't have too much to say about it, but I think 13, Rashawn Slater to the Vikings, really nice pick there. And then number 14, this is an easy one, Devontae Smith for the Patriots. It has become evident all year long that the Patriots they really, really need some wide receiver help. They have the worst wide receiver group in the league, and I think that is cemented right now. I mean, they cannot get separation, and Cam Newton, Cam Newton hasn't been good, but neither of the wide receivers. It's just been a mess. They cannot pass on offense. They have 8 passing touchdowns all year long. It is terrible. Devontae Smith will come in, make an impact, has had a huge season at Alabama, will most likely win the Heisman. He's won the Player of the Year already. So Devontae Smith would be a great addition to this Patriots team. Nice and athletic, great route runner, can create separation with ease. I really like Devontae Smith, and it would be a gift for the Patriots to get him here at 14. And then at number 15, I think the right pick here for the 49ers would be J.C. Horn out of South Carolina, who I like quite a bit. Very athletic cornerback out of South Carolina. I liked a lot of what he did in man coverage, but especially in zone coverage, I noticed he was very effective, and I think that would work really well in this 49ers team that loves to run some zone coverage. I like that a lot. I mean, pretty smart corner. I like J.C. Horn at number 15 for the 49ers. I think he could really fit in there. Aging Richard Sherman, I think they need some help on that back end, and J.C. Horn would be a nice and solid pickup. And then at number 16, the Raiders get a gift here. Kwity Paye falling to them at number 16 is exactly what this team needs. Kwity Paye, I really like him. I think, it's funny because Rousseau and Paye is always an argument. I think Rousseau is better. But Kwity Paye, they're completely different. Kwity Paye is massive. He is massive. Really, really strong. I think he can push around prospects at the NFL level, really get pressure. He's got some nice pass rush moves. He's not the quickest, but he wins with his strength, his physicality, his technique. I really like Kwity Paye out of Michigan. And the Raiders really need help on the edge, so I think this would be a beautiful pick for them, really help them out in an area that they desperately need help in. And I think this would add a lot to this defense because it has been disastrous how they cannot get pressure this year. So I think Kwity Paye is a great pick for the Raiders there. And then at number 17, we got the Arizona Cardinals, and their biggest need is at cornerback. And my pick for them is Darion Kendrick out of Clemson. I like Darion Kendrick a lot, actually. I think he is a phenomenal player. Really lanky player out of Clemson, plays some nice man coverage, very athletic, and he does have some issues with some technique here and there, but I think the raw talent and physicality, physical style of play is something you cannot pass up on here. I think you would add a lot to this Cardinals secondary. You got a very exciting offense. You need to build on this defense. I think Darion Kendrick really helps this Cardinals team do that on the back end. And so I like Darion Kendrick a lot out of Clemson. He's one of my guys this year. So Cardinals get a gift here with Darion Kendrick. Really nice player out of Clemson. Then at number 18, I thought a lot about this one. There's a couple ways that the Colts could go here. I mean, they could take a quarterback, but I still think this team thinks they can win with Phillip Rivers. We'll see what goes on. They could miss the playoffs this year, which would be unfortunate, especially if they go 11-5 and miss. That would be rough. But I still think they think they can compete with Rivers for maybe one more year. And I think the way they think they can do that, they can protect him. They need a tackle for the future. And I think Samuel Cosme is the best in the draft out of Texas. Very strong, very physical, pretty sound. I don't think he is. I think there's a lot of guys that they could take. I think Samuel Cosme, in my opinion, is the second best. I think he would just do a nice job on this Colts offensive line, be their guy for the future. I think that's very valuable. When you get tackle is one of the more valuable positions in football, and Cosme is a great one. So that's the Colts get Samuel Cosme, and that leads me to one of my favorite picks in the draft, and that is Kyle Trask to Washington football team. I guess not one of my favorite picks in the draft, but I think that this would just be great for both sides. I think you get. I don't love Trask, in my opinion. I just don't think he is a phenomenal player, but I just really like the pick here for the Washington football team because I think right now they're a quarterback away from competing, and I think they're only going to continue to get better and better and better. I mean, right now they've had so much dysfunction at quarterback. Alex Smith has been the closest they've gotten to anything decent, and he hasn't been good. And Trask is a guy that can come in, really, really nice accuracy, touch on his deep balls. He's more willing to run. He's not the most mobile, but he's willing to run. He knows when to run, and I like that. He's got some nice intangibles. So I like Trask a lot, and he's got a really nice work ethic from everything that I've heard, and I think that would work really well in this Ron Rivera team. Set a precedent by cutting Dwayne Haskins. They're not going to deal with any of that crap that Dwayne Haskins was putting out there. So I think this is a great fit. You get Terry McLaurin, a quarterback. You get this offense rolling with this defense that is looking better and better and better. So I like this fit a lot. I would love to see Kyle Trask go to a good organization in Washington with Ron Rivera. I think this would be a really nice pick here for Washington, and it would really help them compete next year. I think this Washington football team is a team that's in a position to compete, and I think Trask would certainly help with that. So I like Trask to Washington here. They get their quarterback of the future and a guy that is very, very talented. And then a team that might need their quarterback of the future, but we don't know yet because all of a sudden Mitch Trubisky has just started balling out these past couple weeks. So we'll see what happens with the Bears. But I think the biggest need for them to fill is on the offensive line, offensive tackle. They've got a bottom 5 offensive line. They need offensive tackle desperately. I think if Trubisky continues to play the way he's playing and they get some protection, this offense could certainly be formidable next year. And I think formidable is what this offense needs. They need to be decent because the defense is good. I know it's not great as always at all times, but it's good. I think with Darisaw out of Virginia Tech, who's been solid protector all year long for Virginia Tech, I think it would be a nice fit for Chicago. So Christian Darisaw out of Virginia Tech to Chicago could really benefit Mitch Trubisky in this offense that needs some pass protection. Darisaw provides that. And then talk about another team that needs some pass protection. Jalen Mayfield to the Jacksonville Jaguars out of Michigan. I think you need to protect Trevor Lawrence. Jalen Mayfield will do that. Nice athlete, got some good footwork. I like Jalen Mayfield quite a bit. Very physical. And so I think it's just a good pick for the Jaguars. Not too much to say about it. Got to protect Trevor Lawrence, quarterback of the future, and Jalen Mayfield is a perfect way to start with that. And then at number 22, I like this pick a lot for the Browns. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker out of Notre Dame, who's had a fantastic year, really been a part of the reason that this defense has been good this year. He's been just phenomenal. I think Owusu-Koramoah, a guy that could really come into Cleveland who needs linebacker help desperately. I mean, that's become more and more evident. This defense is really rough outside of Myles Garrett. They need an all-around guy like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah who can help in pass coverage. He can rush the passer if you want him to. I think Jeremiah would be great for that. Really be that all-around linebacker that the Browns need. They desperately need a leader on that defense, but besides Myles Garrett, I think Owusu-Koramoah could definitely do that for them, really help provide a major need on this defense. And I think they get a really nice player here in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah at number 22 for them. And then at number 23, I think we got to go wide receiver here. I took earlier, I'm sure you remember, Trey Lance to the Dolphins. And a lot of people are projecting wide receiver. Well, I said you can get a wide receiver elsewhere, and you can get a wide receiver later in this draft. Rashad Bateman. I know he's not Jamar Chase, but the difference between Jamar Chase and Rashad Bateman is something that I'm willing to give up for a guy like Trey Lance. And Rashad Bateman is phenomenal. He is a really nice player, all-around wide receiver, some nice speed. I like Bateman quite a bit out of Minnesota. He's made a ton of nice plays in his career at Minnesota. So I like this pick. Give Trey Lance that weapon that can get separation, which has been an issue all year. I think they have enough on the offensive line where it's formidable. But I like Rashad Bateman. I like that pick there for the Miami Dolphins, who now have their quarterback of the future maybe, and a wide receiver for the future. And then another pick here for the Baltimore Ravens. I think they got to go with wide receiver as well. Worst, I was talking about the Patriots having the worst in the league. I think it's debatable between the Ravens and the Patriots. The Ravens just really desperately need a wide receiver. Their passing game is really suffering right now because they do not have that do-it-all guy that can be a trustworthy number one. Hollywood sometimes shows some flashes of good, but just not enough. I think he would be much more suited as a number two guy that provides a deep threat, but they need that number one overall guy, and that's Terrace Marshall out of LSU. I think he really would be that all-around guy. He's a jack of all trades. He's got some decent athleticism and size, and he could really work cornerbacks on the outside. He can run some nice routes on the inside, win in single coverage, and that's what the Ravens need. It's sure-handed, strong receiver, and I think Terrace Marshall would provide that and would be a really nice pickup and really help out this Ravens offense and Lamar Jackson continue to develop this passing game, add a new layer to this offense. So that'd be very exciting to watch. I would love to see that for the Ravens. And then at number 25, I think the biggest need for the Titans is edge rusher, and the guy that I'm going to go with, there's a couple of options here, is Jalen Phillips out of Miami. He is shooting up a lot of people's boards right now, and I hadn't really thought too much about him. I started watching a little bit more of him, and I really, really like him. I think he is a player that is very talented, great athlete, and I know he is a little bit risky. He's got some injury history, missed a couple some time at Miami because of that, and he does have some technical things here and there, but just a freak athlete. Very quick off the edge, can win in a lot of ways. I like Jalen Phillips a lot for this for this Titans team who desperately needs edge. They cannot get pressure whatsoever, which is hurting the secondary. It's helping the opposing offenses. So Jalen Phillips would be a really nice addition to this Titans team that desperately needs edge. And then number 26, I'm going to go with Azeez Ojulari, another edge rusher. We get back-to-back edge rushers here. I think Azeez Ojulari is a guy that isn't going to be the greatest at stopping the run, but super lanky guy. He's quick off the edge. He can really get to the quarterback, and that's really something that the Buccaneers need. It would be, they don't have many holes on their roster, but a guy that can really get after the quarterback would be something that they really, it would be really nice to have on that defense. I mean, they're already a solid run-stopping unit, but just adding a guy that can get pressure on the quarterback, win on the outside with speed, and Azeez Ojulari would be really nice for this Buccaneers defense. And then at number 27, the New York Jets pick again, and I think this was a little bit of a tough decision. I mean, do you go like an offensive tackle to protect your new quarterback in Justin Fields, or do you help out the defense? And I think I'm going to go help out the defense. Eric Stokes out of Georgia. I like him a lot. He's one of the better corners in this class. Just do it all cornerback. Not too much to say about him, but I think he would really help out. Be that guy that can help out on the secondary in this defense, and he would provide a lot of value at number 27. So I like that pick there for the Jets. Really helps solidify this defense. And then I think the Steelers, their biggest need is offensive tackle. They will be losing Villanueva most likely this offseason. So they need to take one of these guys. And I think Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama would be a great pick. He's had to deal with a lot of great edge rushers at his time in Alabama. He's done a great job. Really nice, sound prospect. I think he's pretty safe here for the Steelers. You know what you're getting at a guy from Alabama. I like this pick a lot. Get you your tackle for the future. We'll see what the Steelers do with their quarterback position, because that is certainly something to watch. But I think here you got to take the biggest need, and that is that is offensive tackle, and I think Alex Leatherwood would do a great job for them. And then number 29, we get the New Orleans Saints, and I think their biggest need is linebacker. And I know you could say they could take a replacement for Drew Brees, and I think I don't love Mac Jones, but if there's one team that I would like to see Mac Jones go to, it would be the New Orleans Saints, because they did it for years and years and years. I mean, this offense with Sean Payton could do a great job with Mac Jones, in my opinion. And so I could see this certainly working out, but I don't love Mac Jones. I think I'd rather see this team, help a need on defense, which is linebacker. And I think Dylan Moses, the athleticism, just sheer athleticism. He's not he's not the most refined guy, but from what I've seen, super athletic. And I think that would really, really be a nice addition to that defense for the Saints. I like Dylan Moses to the Saints at number 29. And then number 30, I think the Bills could go a lot of different ways. I wouldn't mind seeing them take a guy like Shaun Wade, who's a nice slot cornerback, and he would be a nice slot cornerback for the Bills. But I think a big need for them is edge rusher, and you get a really nice player here in Joseph Asai at number 30 overall. You get some nice value there. I like Joseph Asai quite a bit. He's a hardworking guy out of Texas. He's shown a lot of promise. Can win on the inside, can win on the outside, really anywhere on the line. Pretty athletic. I think he needs to work on some technical abilities. And really, he was used in multiple ways at Texas, and pass coverage was one of them. He did struggle a little bit more in that, but I just don't think the Bills would ask that out of him. So I think just purely as an edge rusher, he would do a great job on this defense. So I'd love to see that. That'd be a lot of fun on this Bills defense that would only continue to get better and would really get better here with a guy as special as Joseph Asai is at number 30 overall. And then at number 31, you have the Packers, and there's a couple of ways you could go with this. I think you could go wide receiver. That's kind of been just a thing for the Packers for a long time, but I think that's overblown. I don't think the Packers need another wide receiver. I mean, Scantling provides a deep threat, and Devontae Adams is arguably the best wide receiver in the league underneath route running. So I don't think the wide receiver need is as big as some people blow it up to be. But I think a need that is as big as people blow it up to be is run stopping. And interior defensive lineman would be very, very, very helpful for this Packers team. They've got some edge rushers, and they do have some weaknesses at linebacker, but they have the number one corner. They have that edge rushing guy, those edge rushing guys, but they need that run stopper, that number one guy on the interior that can really work. And I'm going Davion Nixon out of Iowa. I really like him. In my opinion, he is actually the second best in the class, behind Christian Barmore at this interior defensive line, defensive tackle position. But I think Davion Nixon is from what I've seen, just better at stopping the run. I think he's more physical in that regard, and I think that's really what the Packers need. So I think Davion Nixon would be a nice pickup here, a solid run defender. He's really improving in that area. He's really improved in the past year. I can get after the quarterback as well. I think just a force on the interior defensive line would be really nice for this Packers defense that would need it for sure. So Davion Nixon, some people might think it's a little bit of a reach, but I think it's a really nice pickup here for the Packers. And then at number 32, I think that interior offensive line is the biggest need. I think people do underestimate the fact that they need wide receiver a little bit. A couple guys will be gone and this offseason, most likely gone elsewhere. So I think wide receiver wouldn't be a terrible pick here, but I think a beautiful pickup here all the way at the bottom would be Wyatt Davis. So just one of the best offensive linemen in the class, in my opinion. I'm just really helping on the interior, protecting Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, that was the draft here. I'm just going to scroll through it really quick if you wanted to see it one more time. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I will be doing these more throughout the offseason. And I gave you all my thoughts on a lot of the prospects. Let me know what you thought down below. Let me know what your favorite pick was, what your least favorite pick was. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe as always. And until next time, peace.